Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Patty. Welcome to today's video. Today is gonna be a Q&A on my Instagram that I got on New Zealand, grad school, moving, stuff like that, how I'm adjusting to life in New Zealand and everything like that. So yeah, thank you guys so much for those who submitted questions. I really appreciate it, and let's get into the video. How's the adjustment to island life? So if those of you who are unfamiliar, New Zealand is a set of two islands. There's the North Island and the South Island. The majority of New Zealand's population is located in the North Island, which is where I am living in Auckland. And to be honest, I don't feel like I feel much of a difference in terms of feeling like I'm on an island. I think New Zealand in general and Auckland is such a large city, and it has accessibility to a good amount of things that I feel like I don't necessarily feel the difference. The only thing I will say is temperature, weather-wise, it is a bit more humid than what I'm used to, but it's nothing crazy. I've been in parts of the US that are 10 times more humid than New Zealand / Auckland is, so it's truly nothing crazy. I don't feel a huge difference being here. Question number 2, any fine puppies out there? So thank you for submitting that question. I would say for the most part, like I haven't really seen too many fine puppies out here, like in general. I would say I go to the gym almost every day here on campus. I would say the gym is where you find the fine puppies, but otherwise, like I'm an engineering major, so I wouldn't say engineering is where you're gonna find those fine puppies, but if you go to the gym, you might find them there. Okay, question number 2, what made you decide on energy studies? I got a couple questions relating to why I chose my major, why energy studies, stuff like that. So if you're unfamiliar, my background is in civil engineering. That's what I got my bachelor's degree in. And then I spent the last 3-ish years working in construction management in the construction industry in California. So energy is something I've always kind of had in the background of my mind as like an interest. So I would say that interest started in high school when I was first introduced at a female engineering summit. I SoCal Edison speak at that engineering summit, and if you're unfamiliar, SoCal Edison is the largest provider of electricity and energy in the Southern California region. In NorCal, it's PG&E, so that is our energy supplier in Southern California. I think that is first where that interest sparked, but I think more so in college, that interest stemmed from my passion for sustainability and knowing that the renewable energy sector is growing, and that is something that is pushing us more towards a sustainable future. I do think that's always been something I'm interested in. And I actually attempted to pursue an energy studies minor in college, but on top of my major in civil engineering and all the other extracurriculars I was involved in, I ended up dropping it just because it was a bit too much, but look at me now, getting my master's in energy. Top bucket list item for your year in New Zealand. And then in parentheses, I'm trying to get you some good content, Patty, so thank you for that. I would say my top bucket list item is visiting Queenstown in the South Island, or just visiting the South Island in general. So Queenstown is probably like the biggest tourist destination for New Zealand. It's kind of where the town is like really cute. It's near a lot of really beautiful spots that you can go visit, go hiking, go skiing, go bungee jumping, stuff like that. So that's kind of the hub of where you can do all these really cool activities in the South Island of New Zealand. And I would say the biggest activity I want to do is take a cruise on the Milford Sound, which is also located in the South Island. So that's my biggest bucket list item, but there are many, many beautiful things I want to see while I'm here in New Zealand. Biggest culture shock so far. I feel like for the most part, considering New Zealand is an English speaking country, there hasn't been anything that I feel like is like absolutely shocking. I would say one kind of crazy thing that I feel like I've like noticed meeting new people here and there. I feel like in the US, because of our crazy work culture and how working is basically your entire life, you know, encounter some people who truly kind of hate their lives, express it outwardly by being mean or cruel or I don't know, just a piece of shit, basically. So I feel like I haven't really run into people here that don't truly like appreciate their day-to-day, their lives. Like, these people don't seem miserable, and you can tell. And if you look up the stats on countries with the highest quality of life, New Zealand is always up there. So I feel like it shows in the day-to-day interactions. People are quite nice here, and they seem to be in a relatively good mood at all times. So that's the biggest culture shock. How did you find housing, or was it through the school? So I am in housing through the University of Auckland. I'm in grad student housing. I just wanted to make it easy for myself. I wanted to be close to campus. I didn't want to have to worry about figuring out utilities, because obviously utilities, the system is different. Like how you pay them, timeline of paying them is different in every single country. So I didn't really want to have to figure that out as someone who's never been to New Zealand, so I just did it through the school. But I do know some people who recently moved here that are living off campus, and I believe they found them through Facebook groups. What made you choose your major, and how did you land choosing New Zealand to study? So I did answer the first part of the question, but for the second part, similar-ish story on my interest in energy studies. Ever since I was in high school, for some reason, I've always been attracted to New Zealand. I feel like as Americans and just worldwide, people always hear stories about how amazing New Zealand is, like how beautiful it is, how well regulated their government is, how nice their people are, how much culture they have because of their Maori indigenous culture and everything. So I feel like all those aspects have always been something that's really important to me ever since I was young. And in high school, I joked with my parents, like, because of the state of the world in 2019, because of the presidential election at that time, similar to something that we're going through right now, but things are a lot worse at the moment. But anyway, I was not happy with the direction of the US government and how our politics were playing out, which again was in 2019. And I told my parents, I'm gonna move to New Zealand after I graduate from undergrad. Yeah, and of course back then, like, it wasn't really a like reality for me. I ended up getting out of college in a long-term relationship. So of course I wasn't gonna just up and move to New Zealand without my partner and everything, but I'm no longer with that person. So I ended up, after getting out of my last relationship and being unhappy with work and everything, I wanted to go back to school, but the cost of attending graduate school in the US, if I paid for it myself, was double what I am paying in New Zealand. So one, always being attracted to New Zealand as a country is cost of attending graduate school, as well as how regulated their government is. It was really, really quick and easy to get a visa here. Even though their job market right now isn't the best, it's still doing better than the US job market right now. So doing a career transition would be a little bit easier here, and getting work experience here, and then eventually bringing it back to the US if that is what I want to do, which eventually I do want to go back to the US. But for now, this year, and maybe over the next 1 to 2 years, maybe a little bit more, I do want to get work experience out here. What food are you most excited to try? I would say New Zealand is well known for their pies, and that is savory pies, and I guess maybe sweet pies as well. It just seems like pies are a really big thing here, and I actually have had one already. It was a chicken tikka masala pie, and it was really good. Had it at a engineering event here on campus, so that was good. I definitely want to go out there and try a couple more things and everything. So I also this weekend might go to McDonald's and try some of their items that they have here, which actually one of my friends also asked, or said, not a question, but I want to see a New Zealand snack taste test like at McDonald's or 7-Eleven. So I am going to be making a video taste testing McDonald's, and then also eventually maybe we'll make a snack video as well. So that'll be fun. I'm just not yet quite familiar with what snacks are most popular here, but I will figure that out and then I will make a video. What was the hardest part about moving across the country? I think mostly just not being able to bring the people I love most with me, like my family, my parents, my siblings, my best friends, which they're all a bit scattered now, but most of them are still in the Bay Area. I wish so badly that I told my best friend Ashley, I texted her, I said, I wish you were portable. I wish all those people in my life were portable so I could literally just take them everywhere with me, but unfortunately they all have their own lives and their lives do not revolve around me, so I could not take them. But being away from every person that is important to me and that I deeply care about, being away from them is really hard, as well as moving to a new country, not knowing a single person. That has definitely been really hard, but I am lucky that I am an extrovert and I feel like I can become friends with anybody. So I've luckily been able to make a couple friends so far. And like even my 3 roommates, they're all international grad students and they're all the nicest, like funniest girls ever. I really lucked out with my roommate. So I have some close friends already. So that has been a lot of fun. Are there any items that stood out to you in the grocery store, like how eggs are stored, for example? So yes, eggs in particular, they do not refrigerate them in New Zealand. In the US, I believe the process that our eggs are cleaned and sterilized, they no longer have that outer protective coating that allows them to be stored without refrigeration. So that is why US eggs are stored in the fridge and not stored in the fridge here. But yeah, I guess that's the only major thing. Everything else, obviously they have completely different brands for certain things, but for the most part, like nothing's really like shocked me in terms of the grocery store. I will say one brand of items that I am like their biggest fan, and I was not expecting to see them out here, and to see them out here, I was so pleasantly surprised, so happy, is Chobani. I, over the past like 6 months, have been really on like my health and fitness grind. And of course I've been eating Greek yogurt like crazy to meet my protein goal, but I actually do really love Greek yogurt. Love it sweetened, unsweetened, with fruit, with nuts, with peanut butter, literally anything. But Chobani in particular, I feel like I just love the flavor of their items, and I like multiple Chobani products a day. So to have them here in New Zealand has made me so happy. Do people notice your American accent? Follow up, do you think you'll develop a New Zealand accent? The University of Auckland is majority international students, especially their graduate programs. So for the most part, everybody kind of has an accent. And I guess people do notice I have somewhat of a neutral accent in terms of my English speaking. I don't think people automatically assume I'm American, but they probably assume I'm either Canadian or American, or am from a country that has a lot of North American influence. So people don't automatically assume, but I'm sure they have somewhat of an inkling that I am North American. For the follow-up question, I do not think I'll develop a New Zealand accent. Again, I am not really exposed to that many Kiwis because of the University of Auckland. Like if I end up working here and am exposed to more Kiwis, maybe that will change. But otherwise, like even probably only one or two, like a handful of my professors are Kiwis. Otherwise, like most of them are from like Europe. What was the hardest thing to leave behind? What was the weirdest thing you brought? So hardest thing to leave behind for me was my dog. And to show you a picture, if you are unfamiliar, this is Iris. That is my dog. I've had her since I was 16, and I was with her at home for 2 years while I was still in high school. She stayed at home while I was in undergrad for 4 years. And then as soon as I moved to Northern California for work post undergrad, I took her with me. So she was with me for the past almost 3 years, living with me, because she's like technically my dog. Even though like my mom got her, she's technically my dog. It was really sad to leave her, but luckily she's in good hands. My grandma's literally obsessed with her, so she was more than happy to take care of her, but I am sad to have left her. I wish she was portable as well, which I guess she is, but it probably would have been too much for her because she's now technically a senior dog, so I think it would have been a little too hard for her to do all that travel with me. What was the weirdest thing you brought? I brought with me my Trader Joe's lunch little bags as well as my Trader Joe's tote bags, just because I love Trader Joe's and I knew I would be obviously grocery shopping here, so might as well just bring my own reusable bags. Somebody said, not a question, but I'm living vicariously through you. It takes a lot of courage. Kudos. I really appreciate that. I was truly so shocked at the amount of love and support and comments from people on my Instagram about my decision to come to New Zealand, come to grad school. Like some of these people are people I haven't talked to since like middle school, high school, and it's so sweet knowing that like I know so many positive and encouraging and caring people, and that I've I guess touched those people in a way in my life. So thank you so much. If you are one of those people that I haven't talked to since like high school or middle school or something, like truly thank you from the bottom of my heart. Like your guys' support means so much to me. How many bags did you take with you when you moved to New Zealand? That's a good question. So I'll show a picture here, but my plan was to bring a check size bag, so medium check-in bag, one carry-on and one backpack, and that was it. And I almost achieved that goal. I ended up having to take an additional like tote bag, so another like personal item sized bag. So I ended up having to check my carry-on, but luckily because I have a Delta credit card, both my checked-in bags were free. So that was all that I brought with me. I ended up leaving like a lot of stuff, not clothes, but mostly just like books and like knickknacks and stuff and like documents or whatever. I ended up having to leave them at my parents' house. Those are all the questions that I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any more questions, make sure to leave them in the comments and I might make another video depending on how many comments I get, and then would love to make more update videos for you guys of my life in New Zealand. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good one. Bye.